Last night at Bristol, Cory McClenathan had a qualifying run turned terrifying as his car broke in half and became a tumbling fireball. When the car began to brake, the engine separated from the driver pod and the pod slammed into the wall. The first pieces crossed the line with a 465 at 269 miles an hour. McClenathan was air-evac to a local hospital. Rookie Hillary Will was up next in the same lane, watched the accident, and then ran number one. Followed immediately in the other lane on the far side by Melanie Dragster, who snatched number one away. As they unloaded the pieces of the broken car, the community waited. Then the report came in. McClenathan was awake and alert. Well, we welcome you to Bristol Dragway. I'm Paul Page with Mike Dunn, and it was one of those moments last night where everything just gets still. And the crowd is silent, the racetrack is silent. The safety safari rushed immediately to the accident scene, and it took a long time to treat Cory there on the ground. And because it did, a good number of the community, some of the great names in the sport, all walked up there to make sure that he was okay. But Mike Dunn, let's analyze it. What happened?
Well, Paul, you got to remember, you're talking about race cars that produce over 7,000 horsepower and accelerate from a standing start to over 330 miles per hour in under 4.5 seconds. That's going to put a lot of strain on the chassis, especially the top fuel chassis. And basically what happened, you saw the car broke in half just after it got past half track. Now, watch here, you're going to see one of the concerns is at about 700 feet, there's a couple bumps. You're going to see the car bounce right there. Look right in between the wheels, the wheelie bar. When that wheelie bar hits, the chassis is already braking. You factor in the cool, heavy air that's creating more downforce on there. Whatever problem with that chassis was having at that point, that really helped contribute to the car breaking in half and then hitting the wall. Now let's take another look from down track. The first shot, yeah, there was a lot of fire. You saw the car go into the wall. It wasn't real concerned. But now this shot I was a little bit concerned with, because when the car brakes, and the back of the car basically comes around, or the front of the car actually goes around the back end, trying to pass him. Right there, you see the driver cockpit right there, and then it's going to go into the wall. That was a hard hit. That was a big concern for me. But then as the car rolled, I wasn't too concerned about the fire because it went out, relatively quick, and they're pretty well protected from fire. But then when it was sitting there still burning a little bit, that hard hit had me concerned. But then, as the safety safari was pulling out to put the fire out, you're going to look in the driver cockpit, which is right about there. You're going to finally see Cory start to crawl out of that race car, which was a good sign for everybody on board.
Yeah, and we also had an onboard. It was looking over to the other lane, but here it is.
Yeah, you're going to see the car break in half. He's going to lift out the throttle. The header flames are going to come down. You're going to see a lot of fluid from the front, and that's actually the fuel lines being separated from the engine. That's what caused a lot of the fire. Right there, you see all the fuel coming up. And then basically that's what, when it hit the wall, the spark ignited that fuel, and you saw the big fireball at the end.
Yeah, some amazing views of Cory McClenathan's incident. Does it send up any red flags for you?
Well, I mean, it always does. I mean, anytime you have a chassis failure like that, I mean, NHRA, Safety Safari, all the tech people, racers are going to go over there and look at that thing really close and try to determine what caused that and hopefully fix that for the future.
Well, now Dave Reef picks up that story.
Well, while the drag racing community held its collective breath all night long, the best news for Mark and Andy Carrier and their entire Fram Boost air intake team came at 1:30 in the morning. And Cory McClenathan came back into their pits. Now, certainly it was a long, short night for Cory McClenathan last night, and certainly a very painful one as well. How are you feeling this morning?
Actually, fairly well. I mean, all the safety equipment did its job. The car came apart at the right spot. I think the only thing that really got my attention was when it hit the wall. It took a pretty good lick in the back, but I got to say that Brad Hedman chassis held up very well.
Have you had a chance to talk with Wes Cerny, or anybody else for that matter, about exactly what did happen?
Yeah, it looks like the back top frame rails both came apart. For what reason, we're not exactly sure, and that's really something I need to let Wes Cerny and Ray Alley and everybody from NHRA take a good look at and let them tell me what happened. But certainly is one of those things that does happen every now and then, but we take every safety precaution we can, and thanks to Simpson and all the safety products, I'm still here in one piece.
I'm sure it's not one of the highest priorities on your list, but I walk you over to our monitor now where you can actually get a look and help walk us through that wild ride you took last night.
Well, we actually set the car up to run mid to low 50, and I'll tell you right about now, when the car goes up, right there I knew I was in trouble. So it's all about hanging on at that point. Took a pretty good impact to the wall, but didn't go over the wall. So thanks to Safety Safari again, all the folks at Bristol Motor Speedway did a great job in preparing the racetrack and keeping it in one piece. But,
you ducked.
Oh, I definitely ducked. It got real small. I'm a small guy anyways, but that definitely helped us.
And how did you get out of this?
Well, I mean, I was waiting for it to stop. Obviously, didn't want to unclick my belts, but as soon as I unclicked my belt, started to get out, Lefty from the safety car was right there on top of things, and they got me out, kept me still, and got me on the backboard, considering they didn't know exactly what was going to happen. But
here's the tightest look, Cory. You can see you're getting small in there.
Yeah, I mean, right about here, I'm thinking, okay, I'm in trouble now. That's a pretty wild view. I haven't seen this up this close yet. So
is helpless even describe that?
Definitely, because at this point in time, you're just waiting for it, and all the noise and everything, you're just waiting for it to stop. But I'll tell you, you're right when they say it's a small family out here, because every single team around here that you see out here came over and said, our trailers are open, we'll give you whatever we can. Thank you to Don Schumacher and everybody. They went to Indy and got us a brand new car and got it here. Boys are putting it together, and I'll be ready for tomorrow.
That is a car they will indeed race tomorrow. Cory will sit out the rest of the day, but everybody in drag racing, you can now release your breath. He's okay.